everybody. Good morning. It is January 17th, 2025. My name is Melissa, and this is my channel, Geeky Witch, about all things cross-stitch in my life. It is a very sunny but very cold morning here in Rhode Island. That sun that's coming in my office window is lying to me. It is not warm. And we are going to be getting a weekend of some rain and possibly some snow. Although with how this winter has gone so far, I will believe the snow when I see it, because we are just not getting it this year again. And it's going to be a perfect weekend to hang out and stitch. And that is my plan. Conveniently, there are a couple of stitch-alongs going on this weekend that are themed exactly to that. And that's my plan for this long weekend. I already had Monday off because it's Martin Luther King Day and my company is closed for Martin Luther King Day. And then my boss is gracious enough to give everyone in my department a day of their choosing off in their birthday month. And with the idea of, you shouldn't have to work on your birthday. My birthday was on a Saturday this year, so it's like, all right, fine. I'll take the Friday off and give myself a nice 4-day weekend. Why not? Which I'm kind of looking forward to because I still feel like I'm mentally in recovery mode from the holidays. I don't know why. They weren't stressful for me, but maybe it's just because I was, fighting off that cold and just kind of, I don't know. In any case, I kind of just feel like I need a weekend. So today is a rare day where I have the house to myself all day and I'm not working, which is nice because I do work from home 3 days a week, but not working today. So once I film the video today and get this uploaded, I'm just going to be enjoying a day of stitching my heart out. So today I'm going to talk about those stitch-alongs in case you are also going to be dealing with nasty weather this weekend or need something to avoid watching TV on Monday, if you catch my drift, or just looking for something new. I'm going to talk about those. I will show you what I've been working on so far this month, which is basically what I'm working on this weekend, with the addition of one thing that I won't be able to show you because it's not started yet. And the last thing I have to show you is I ordered some of that budget floss off of AliExpress last year. And I wanted to show you briefly with my camera as it is, a comparison against DMC of the same color. So for those of you who are looking for tighter budget options to stitch with, maybe this gives you an idea. So that's where I'm at. Before I get started, I would like to thank Pam and Steph, who just keep stitching, for giving me a plug this week. I really appreciate it. Those of us who are the smaller, floss tubers kind of can feel a little silent and put away in the bin at times because we just don't have the following. And for many of us, that's okay. I'm not someone who's trying to get up there in subscribers and whatnot, but it is nice sometimes to get a plug and all of a sudden you're like, where are all these new people coming from? So welcome to all of you who have come over. I hope that my channel has something that interests you. If there's something you'd like me to show out of my stash or a topic you want me to talk about, leave me a comment. Let me know. I'm happy to do it in a future episode. I'm always looking for ideas of things that people would like me to talk about. So drop me ideas. But yes, thank you guys. I really, really, really appreciate the plug. And we'll get started on all of this. So, okay. So this weekend is 2 stitch-alongs that are unrelated, but have a very similar idea in some ways, or they blend well together, we'll put it that way. The first one is the International Hermit and Stitch Weekend. And this is a very long-standing monthly stitch-along. It started as a blog project back in 2008, 2009, I want to say, possibly older. It's older than the Apocalypse that I run. We'll put it that way. Started as a blog check-in project. It is now a Facebook group. Free to join, free to participate, no requirements. It literally is just the third weekend of the month from Friday to Sunday. Give yourself time to stitch. Let's hunker down, enjoy some stitching time, show your progress. Huzzah. Easy peasy, right? Nothing, no requirements on you. You don't have to get a certain amount done. Just enjoy your stitching and let's take some time to stitch. So that's happening this weekend, and I haven't participated in it in quite a while. I'm like, I really want to get back to this because I used to do this every single month, and then I had a child and it all fell off like everything else did, it seemed like, when all of a sudden I become a parent. And now that my son has got his own social life because he's in middle school, I can start getting back to some of the things that I would like to do. So that's happening this weekend. The other one that's happening, and this is quarterly, is the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch Marathon. And that is do 24 hours of stitching in the time between Friday and Sunday, or, you know, let's face it, if you've got Monday off, you could start it on Saturday and go to Monday. Whatever works for you, make yourself a weekend, stitch for 24 hours during the weekend. There are some people who are hardcore and they are going to try to stay up and do as much of that 24 hours in one sitting. And my opinion is go with God. I am not able to do that. My eyes will cross and I will not be able to get any stitching done after a certain hour. So that is not me. I will be trying to fit 8 hours in every day, which I should be able to do just fine. It might be one day of 10. Today will probably be the big day since nobody's here. But I can't do it in one sitting. So there will be breaks in the middle of this. But I plan on getting a lot of stitching done this weekend. And I'm looking forward to it because I do want to I've been kind of getting some really good stitching energy in, and I want to get a nice amount of work done on it because next month is the NaCoWriMo, which is International Correspondence Writing Month, and LetterMo, which is a very similar pen paling project. And February I tend to focus that way. And I like to do a lot of writing that month and really focus on my writing for a month. So sometimes my stitching falls off in February for a bit. So I do want to get this stuff moving. So I'm going to show you what I'm working on and what I have worked on so far this month. And then I'll show you that other stuff. So let's get started. All right, and I got my sheets that I showed in my last episode. They keep my notes on everything, so I don't have to remember what I'm stitching projects on because I wouldn't. All right, so this was my New Year's start this year. This is Stitcher's Soul Journey, and this is by Twin Peak Primitives. It was a limited edition kit that came out in 2021. It may still be available. I'm honestly not sure. It came kitted with all of the DMC and the Ada floss, or the Ada floss fabric. I need more coffee. The Ada fabric that it called for. So here is my start so far. And I've been moving along on this for the Semi-Sane Stitchers games that they do during the month. They've got a snowball fight where you have to stitch 300 stitches for a snowball, and then you can toss it at somebody else who's participating in the game, and to get dried off from the snowball, they have to do 100 stitches. And as a tangent, I don't focus on stitches generally. I do not generally count my stitches. I know some people, that's their thing. They like to keep organized by the number of stitches they've done. I think that is something that has evolved more with those who stitch off of Pattern Keeper and with electronic means that can track how many stitches they've done. I am still a purely hard copy stitcher. I don't stitch digitally. I've never tried Pattern Keeper, and I probably should one of these days, but I like to get away from my phone and stuff to stitch, and I've learned to stitch by hard copy. So the only time I count is when I'm actually highlighting to mark where I've been on a project. But I generally, unless I'm participating in one of these games, I don't count at all. I could care less how many stitches I get. So keep that in mind when I talk about stitches. It really isn't one of those things I focus on. I just have to for this game. Anyway, so this is the project I've been working on pretty much for that snowball fight game. And this is stitched on 14 count Aida by XG Designs. It's a color called Gray Sand. So it's mostly gray, but then there are, you can see the little blotches here and there of kind of a brownish color. It's not a fabric color that I probably would have picked myself had I seen it in the store. I've been like, but it works. And I won't lie, it's kind of nice to go back to 14 count just to do some much easier on the eye stitching. So this is one of those pieces that I've been able to pick up late at night and can see it a lot easier than my normal, 40 count projects. But that's where I am so far. So it's, not a ton done, but that is a big motif in the center there with that quilt. So that's where that is. And with how easy that is to stitch, that may get done easily this year. We shall see. Depends how projects drop off the rotation. You know how that goes. And it's me. I have short attention span theater, and then I have to move on to another project that I have in my stash. All right. Oh, I don't have a project sheet for this yet, but that's okay because I know what I'm stitching this on. All right, so my birthday start, and this is a year-long stitch along that is also going on Facebook by the Chatelaine fans page. This is the Watergarden, and they are starting a year-long stitch along, doing a mock-up of how these used to go as mystery patterns, where a little bit of it used to be released a little bit as literally as a mystery. And you get sections of the pattern and it would evolve over the course of the year. So obviously this has been published for many years. I think this is from like 2003. But the organizers of the Stitch Along have sectioned it out into parts to release to kind of give you that feel of the old mystery sampler. So I am stitching this on 28 count antique white. And this is where I'm at since starting it last Saturday. Haven't had a lot of time to stitch this week. Most of this, other than all of the dark blue got done on my birthday on the 11th. The light blue I threw in, I think, on Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday. So we have been assigned for this part to do the inside dark blue section of the mandala in the center. So there's a lot of stitching in there. It is fully stitched. It is dense, but because it's in like the same design over and over, it kind of just has a nice rhythm to it. And this is going to be a fun stitch. I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. So that's where I am on that one. This weekend, I hope to get the rest of the light blue in. And we'll see what else I get done out of that. But the goal is to get all of the light blue in on this project. Maybe the rest of this dark blue as well, and get those two colors for this section finished up. Okay, so next on my list, and this is the first of my two WhipGo projects, is Modern Folk Embroidery, The River. This piece I got in a box from Black Needle Society a couple of years ago, and I didn't start it right away because I had the Fruits of Plenty going, and then I decided for 2023 that I wanted it to be my New Year's Day start, because at that point it felt like I needed to do a modern folk embroidery every year for New Year's Day. I'm happy to say I only did that twice. I have other stuff that I'm starting on New Year's Day, but that's this project. Now, it's printed in red here, but when we got the pattern, we also got some absolutely stunning floss that is, I think it's called the River of Life. Let's see. Yeah, River of Life from Forbidden Fiber. And it is stunning. Beautiful, like deep teals and blues. And I was like, oh yeah, we're doing this in this floss, and we're doing the whole project in this floss. So I picked this up on Tuesday, because I did it while my son was at karate, and started to work on it for the snowball fight, and got my 100 stitches to dry off done, and then was looking at it and realized why I had put it down in the first place, that I had started the alphabet letters one hole off, and so I was off on all the letters I had just stitched. And I hadn't left myself a note, and I hadn't picked out, told myself, before you stitch on this again, you need to fix this. So I took it to work on Wednesday, and during my lunch hour, picked out all the stitches I had done, and then Wednesday night, put them all back in. So I'm back to where I was at the end of Tuesday. Not that it's that far. I don't have all that much done. But yeah, I had to redo all of those letters this week twice. It's been great. So this is the River of Life so far, and the river, and you can see that pretty floss. And I am stitching this on 36 count sterling from Picture This Plus. It's a cut I've had for quite a while, and I have these rows going, so I figure as I get the alphabet going, I'll keep doing my row, which is why I've got different strings going on here. This is one of my WhipGo projects. My goal for WhipGo this year is to do 1,000 stitches on each project called that month. And so I'm being fair, and that frogging stitches does not equal that I've done 200 stitches. I've only done 100 stitches because I got myself back to where I was the other night. But yeah, so I'm 1/10 of the way there. This is what I am going to focus on for my WhipGo part of the stitching this weekend, because I've already completed the WhipGo stitching on my other piece for the month. I would like to get this alphabet, at least this row of the alphabet done, so through letter O, and then get the outline of that first box completely finished to give me the whole, all right, here's your width of your project, and then we can start running down. But we're going to go until I get to the 1,000 stitches, and then go, okay, we've finished that for the month. So that's where that project is. And finally, the other WhipGo, which got called this month, I got both of my modern folk embroideries, both of my New Year's Day starts at the same time. So here is Fruits of Plenty, and it's funny because it says the Fruit of Plenty here, but on the back it says the Fruits of Plenty. So people have referred to it by either name. I'm not sure which one is actually accurate. I bounce back and forth between the two of them, but it's this piece. And it's freaking gorgeous. It is the first modern folk embroidery I ever tried, and it is a beast. There is a whole lot of stitching in this thing, and I work on it very slowly. So this is my version of what I have done so far. This is on 40 count antique ivory from Silk Weaver, which I think now is Needle Fabric by Jim or something, because I think Jim is still dying. I'm not sure. But I am stitching this in DMC 800, which is the light blue, and 840, which is the brown. And the whole piece will be done entirely in those colors. And let me just fold this a little bit so I can show you. This month so far, I finished this triangle here, and I've been developing out this motif here. So I will be working on this weekend. I want to get the rest of this flower in over here. I want to finish this motif here. And if I have time, I'd like to finish the outside border here to define this medallion. So that is my goal on it for the weekend. Like I said, my whip go stitches for this, I've already done my 1,000, because between that and this is done. But I do want to get a lot of stitches in on this year. And I really would like, by the end of the year, I won't get it done. There's no way I'm going to get it done. But I really would like to get the top half of this project done this year. So I'm going to continue working on this, and you will see this pop up this year, because I'm going to kind of have monthly goals to get myself pushed along to really get this thing going. So that's where that's at. And that's what I've been working on so far the first 16 days of the year. So I've gotten all things considered, when, you know, I'm working full time and parenting and whatnot, I'm kind of happy with what I've gotten done so far this year. It's a nice place to be in, we'll put it that way. So that's what I've been working on. The other project that I have to start this weekend, and it's optional, but I'd like to get it in, is I have a ornament exchange to do for my local stitching group. We are having our holiday party next weekend because, you know, December is just crazy. It's just, you can't fit too much in. So we decided last year to push it off until January. It really worked out well because it's just more relaxed. You get to enjoy it more. And we do an optional stitching ornament exchange. So I haven't started on one. So we're going to see if I can cram one in really, really quickly. Yeah, this should be fun. So you may see an ornament. I may go, yeah, I didn't get to it. But like I said, it's optional. You know, I'm going just to see everybody, to hang out with everybody, to stitch with everybody. If I'm not involved in the ornament exchange for a year, life happens. But that's my plan. We'll see if it comes to pass this weekend. I definitely could get it done, but I do want to focus on this stuff, so we'll see. All right, so the other thing I have to show you today is that embroidery floss. So in December, my husband requested a very specific knockoff Lego building kit that he really, 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 really wanted to build. And it was available on AliExpress. I had never ordered anything from AliExpress before. But while I was there, and I'm like, well, if I'm ordering this, I might as well meander around the site and see what else is there. And I picked up, you know, some envelopes to prepare me for writing letters next month. And I came across that they had a full set of knockoff DMC floss. And it was a whopping like $35 for all the colors. I'm like, This definitely seems like something that's too good to be true. But for 35 bucks, what the heck? If I can't use it to stitch and it's usable for, you know, friends' daughters that do friendship bracelets or some other craft, who the heck knows? I'm not really that worried about it. So let's just give it a shot and see. It took about a month to get here. I just got it on Wednesday, but it's here. And here is how it came. This is all, what, 472 colors of the original DMC line. So, and they are, I might add, packaged in number order. They are literally in number order here, which is kind of cool in a way. I'm like, wow, I've never seen all the colors in one spot like this before, because I've never actually had a full set of DMC at one time. I don't even think that I have it. Well, if you picked apart every whip that I have going in this house, I probably do have a full set of DMC, but I never like purchased it for, oh, hi, Luke, you woke up and you're going back down. I'll show you the kitty in a sec. I never purchased a full set of DMC just to have for, you know, stash. I've just picked up little bits of floss as I've gone along. So to see this all in one spot is just kind of like, ooh, this is cool. Even if it isn't real DMC. But I pulled out some colors of DMC just to see how it compares, because a while back there was the Sullivan's is a perfect match for DMC, and you could swap it out discussion. And people said, well, they're close, but they're not exact. So while, yes, you could use Sullivan's in place of DMC, you couldn't like take a skein of DMC and a skein of Sullivan's with the same number and use them at the same time and count on it being exact, because they're not, which is fine. They don't have to be. But, you know, when you're stitching, you just have to be aware of the die lot thing, and they are different makers, and so things are going to be a little different. This is random no-name floss. It doesn't have a brand name on it, but it has the DMC colors. So, all right, before I start opening DMC, we're going to show you the kitty who's sitting here going, you have floss. I want your floss, because he always wants the floss. And I'm going to show him to you, and then I'm going to get him off my desk, because he is so going to make a mess of this. Come here, Luke. Come here. He's like, oh gosh. I know. So this is Luke. He's like, no, don't show me. Luke is part of, yeah, he's like, no, I do not want to be on camera. Luke is one of our Crazy Cat Committee cats. His mom was a pregnant stray young kitten we brought in 2019. She was probably about 7 months old at the time, maybe 8 months old, heavily pregnant with kittens. And we named her Leia, after Princess Leia, after her protest, I am not a committee. Well, Leia was a committee. She was the Itty Bitty Kitty Committee. And she was also the Crazy Cat Lady Starter Pack, because she gave birth to 4 kittens. 1 did not make it, but the other 3 still live with us. We have the entire family of 4. There is Leia, Luke here, his brother Kylo, and their sister Ray, who is Little Miss Murder Mittens, and she is very much an attitudinal lady like her mother. You will often see me post on Facebook about these guys. But Luke is our stripy punk. And yes, hi sir. I know you want all the floss, don't you? Yes, you do. All right, I need you off the desk. He does not, by the way, get along with Toby, who is currently in his box here on the other side of my desk. So I've been hyper aware as I've been filming that I'm like, I have battling cats on either side of me, and I hope nothing starts while I'm filming because this could get bad. Anyway, all right, so that's my cat of the week. Now let's compare some floss. So I'm not going to show all these colors, but I did grab out of my stash some just random, brand new DMC. And I will note that a couple of them that I grabbed out of my stash are old label DMC. So I'm interested to see how different some of these colors are from the older dye lots versus the newer dye lots. Particularly with browns and with greens, because my experience has been that even within DMC, browns and greens seem to sometimes have some weird variation in them across dye lots. So let me grab a couple of colors here. Okay, so to start off, let me find the beginning of this thing. All right, so these colors start, and I apologize for the crinkliness. I want to kind of keep these together, though obviously. These start at number 150, and they go through the standard colors of 3866, along with, you know, a white, an ecru, and the B5200 that you would get if you went to your local Joann's or your local shop that carries the full line of traditional DMC. The newer colors, the 1 through 45, I think it is, that came in that special edition tin a few years ago, those are not in here. And then that set that was in the really high 3800s that you've like never been able to see on stash shelves, because I think it only came in that special edition box, those are not in here. And obviously none of the variegateds are in here. But the traditional full line is in this pack. So just to start off, let's do some basics. All right, so here is the ecru that they have. Obviously, it only has one label on it, but easy to read. It is a 8 ounce, or 8 ounce. It's the same length, 8 meter skeins. Let me find my ecru. I mean, ecru, you can't really screw up. The DMC ecru does have a slightly browner tinge to it. This one is a little bit of a brighter color, if that makes sense. And I will say, to the touch, this feels softer. My guess is that it's just not as finely twisted as the DMC is. But it looks fine. Maybe a little, might have a little more of a fuzzy look to it, but well, I'll be interested to stitch with it. But it feels fine. It does have a tiny bit of a sheen to it. It's not the matte color like Sullivan's has, but it's still not as shiny as DMC. So again, you wouldn't be able to use a skein of one with a skein of the other unless you were going to tweed it, where you were going, if you're stitching with 2 threads, you could put one of each and have an effect. But I don't know if I would necessarily do that, but you could do that if you wanted to. Otherwise, you're going to want to use exclusively one or exclusively the other, because you will notice a difference if you have to switch skeins. But that's the ecru. I grabbed the first color, the 150. Let me see here. So here's the DMC. And on the camera, it may look exact. Again, the color is a tiny bit off. The knockoff looks like it's just a teeny bit lighter than the DMC. A little harder to notice, but if you had the stitches right next to each other, you might be able to notice it. The feel is the same. This one feels softer. I don't think it's an issue to stitch with. I think that if you are looking for a less expensive way to get your stuff for stitching, which I know a lot of stitchers are, it might be doable. I am going to kit something up with these, and I'll stitch it and let you know what I think. But the colors are not exact. I wouldn't have expected them to be honest. But they're reasonably close. I mean, you could sub it out, and if you were only stitching with that floss, you would never notice it. The color variation, you can see where the shading is good. You know, and the colors are beautiful. I mean, especially, I didn't realize how bright those 900s are, but my goodness, they're tropical. That whole, I mean, you've got that there, and then on the other side is the 700s. It's like, oh, look, we go from autumn to, hi, we're in Miami. It's kind of funny how those colors go that way. Let me pull a, of course, it's going to be right in the middle. Maybe I won't do that. Let's see. What's one that I can easily get to? Ah, that's one I can get to. All right, let's do a bright. Here is 608. We're going to go with a neon orange that you probably aren't using all that much, but let's do it anyway. So here's the DMC. This one has a very noticeable difference. Again, I don't know if it's going to come on the camera. The knockoff is a little bit darker on this one. It's probably one shade. Oh, actually, you probably can see it. It's like one shade darker. But, I mean, at least it's within the range. And this is one of those colors, you know, you're using something that bright, you probably are okay. So yeah, they're not exact, but that isn't necessarily a complete, no, we can't use this. Let's see, can I get to that old one? As I completely mess up this, oh, it's so pretty, completely in the pack. Yeah, no. Now we're just gonna destroy everything. Let me grab these out of here because I think that's where I need to be. Okay. What number was that? 581. Okay. This is one of the old DMCs. This is labeled 35 cents a skein. I don't know what year this is from, but this is the label that I vaguely remember stitching with in the 1980s when I just started stitching. So that gives you a date. And here is the 581 that came in the knockoff. And I'm going to be honest, that is the closest I see. The newer floss looks a little brighter. Just like, it looks more vibrant. But again, because of the old label, that could just be age. But this one it's pretty close. It's coming off as different on camera, but it looks closer to my eye. So who knows, maybe I have a little bit of an inability to tell green in my vision. I don't know. But yeah, interesting. Let's do one more. Let's grab a brown, because that's always a very critical. So browns for me are always the colors that I find have the most issues between dye lots. And I found within a box, like when I got my DMC to do Fruit of Plenty, it was the box of the same color of DMC. I got a whole box of 10, and there was variation even within that box. There is something about browns with DMC that it can vary wildly. I don't, yeah, it just must be how it sits on cotton. I don't know. But, all right, so we're going to do 612, which probably technically is like a gold, but to my eye, it's brown. So there's 612. And here is the knockoff 612 next to it. Very close. This is just a little bit lighter. The texture difference is a bit of a throw off though too. The DMC is much, much more defined. You can really see the twist of the DMC, where the knockoff really doesn't have quite as much of a definition of a twist with the strands. They almost look a little more just flat and bunched together. So, I mean, they are twisted together, but it's not as tightly. So it will be interesting to see how this stitches up. I will give it a shot. But yeah, I mean, I think if you are looking for a cheaper alternative, you're trying to figure out how to get floss, this might be something that works. It's $35 for the entire thing. Give it a shot. Maybe you'll like it. The other thing is, of course, that we all like different things. So one stitcher will be like, oh, I tried it, I hated it. And then other people will be like, no, I love using it. And actually, I like it better than DMC. And anything, whatever floats your boat. There are people who absolutely love Sullivan's. There are people who absolutely hate Sullivan's. I am a neutral on Sullivan's. Don't mind stitching with it. Had no problem with it. I did a couple of little house projects with it. It looked great. But I do know that switching between the two flosses is a little tricky. And you can use a skein of one with the other. I mean, Chatelaines use silk and use cotton together in one project. You can flip between whatever you need to finish a project. But just be aware of your dye lots and the slight color variation within one called for color. It's going to get a little tricky. So that is my initial thought review. I will update you in further episodes as I kit something and stitch something, and we'll see how it goes, because I am interested to see how this goes. And yeah, but so if you're looking for it, I'll provide what link is active now. I think AliExpress is one of those ones where the links go inactive. So you'll get an idea of what you're looking for, but the link I provide may not have anything on it after a couple of weeks. I don't know. But it'll give you an idea of what I ordered, so you can go find it there if you want to give it a shot. And yeah, so that is my video for today. I hope if you were stitching this weekend, you enjoy your stitching. If I see you around Facebook on any of these projects, say hi. I don't know, I may, if I feel like it, maybe I'll do a live stitching on Monday. We'll see. But that's my plan, and I hope you enjoy your stitching. So until the next time, take care all, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.